If your retirement plan shows you with a 99% chance of success, you might be looking at good news. You might also be looking at a warning sign. You're getting ready to retire. You've got a trip to Italy on your list. You finally want to redo the kitchen and you run your numbers. A 75% retirement chance of success is generated in your Boldin plan. That doesn't feel safe enough. So you trim the travel budget, put the kitchen on hold, and keep cutting until you see 99%. Relief washes over you. You did it. You're safe. But what did that extra 24 percentage points actually cost you? Was it another couple of years of work before retiring? Several years of saying, maybe next year to that Italy trip? Or perhaps the kitchen renovation never happened? That 99% chance of success might represent years of experiences you never gave yourself permission to enjoy. For some of you, 99% may very well be your number. For many, though, that 99% may be quietly shrinking the retirement you worked your whole life for. I'm Mike Pappis, a certified financial planner professional at Boldin, and figuring out what camp you're in starts with understanding what that score is actually telling you. To get started, let me give you a quick refresher on how Boldin's Monte Carlo calculates your chance of success score. Boldin runs your plan through 1,000 simulations of different market outcomes, some better than average, some worse. Your chance of success is the percentage of those simulations where your projected savings never drop below $0 in any single month of your plan. A 70% chance of success doesn't mean a 30% chance your retirement plan will completely fail, and that's the part many people misunderstand. Instead, it means there's roughly a 30% chance you'll need to make some kind of adjustment along the way. That may look like skipping a big trip or two during a market downturn, pausing an inflation increase in your spending for a couple of years, or holding on to your 10-year-old car a little longer than you originally planned. That's why I don't think of a chance of success score as a pass-fail grade. I think of it as a measure of how much flexibility your plan has before you need to make any adjustments. Once you start looking at it that way, chasing 99% doesn't seem nearly as important. Let's go back to those two versions of you. They both retire with the same amount of money. They both start with the same dream retirement. The only difference is that one insists on getting to a 99% chance of success, while the other is comfortable retiring at a 75% chance of success, for example. Now, fast forward 5 years. The markets cooperate. Neither version runs into the kind of prolonged downturn that would have required meaningful spending cuts. The 99% version of you worked a little longer, skipped the Italy trip, never remodeled the kitchen, and today they're sitting on a larger portfolio than they expected. The 75% version retired when they wanted to. They took the trip. They remodeled their kitchen. Their portfolio is smaller, but their retirement plan is still healthy because they understood they might need to make some adjustments if markets hadn't cooperated. As it turned out, they never had to. Neither retirement is objectively right or wrong. If having that extra cushion genuinely helps you sleep better at night, that's a perfectly reasonable choice. The important question is whether you made that trade-off intentionally or whether you drifted into it because a bigger number simply felt safer. A higher chance of success doesn't just mean a lower chance of needing to adjust your plan. It could also mean working longer, spending less, postponing experiences, and ultimately leaving yourself with more money than you ever planned to spend. Money you never intended to just sit on. So what's the right chance of success then? The honest answer is it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. That's the part most retirement advice skips right over. Let's say you don't have children and leaving a financial legacy isn't important to you. In that case, a plan built in the high 90s might not represent safety. It might simply mean you're spending significantly less than you could have during retirement. Now flip the situation. Maybe you have 3 children and one of your biggest goals is leaving each of them a meaningful inheritance. Your goal isn't simply making sure your money lasts your lifetime. It's making sure there's enough left over to accomplish that legacy goal too. Neither goal is better than the other. They're just different. If you're solving for different goals, Why would you expect the same chance of success target to make sense for both? So, how do you figure out what your number should be? Start by asking yourself three questions. How much, if anything, do you want to leave behind and to whom? How much of your essential spending is already covered by guaranteed income, like Social Security or a pension? How willing are you, honestly, to adjust your spending if markets, life events, or other factors don't go the way you expected? There's a follow up worth asking too. Where in your budget does that flexibility actually live? A 70% score built on bare minimum spending, no travel, no extras, nothing left to trim is a very different situation than a 70% score that still has some wishful spending baked in. A nicer car, more frequent trips, things you could give up without touching your actual needs. Same number, very different amount of real breathing room. Your answers may point you toward a higher chance of success, or they may tell you you're already being more conservative than you need to be. Either outcome can be okay, as long as it's intentional. Open your plan in Boldin and experiment. Try spending a little more in the early years of retirement, retiring a year earlier. See how those choices affect your chance of success. And more importantly, ask yourself whether the trade offs are worth it. Remember those years of saying, maybe next year to the Italy trip or the kitchen remodel? If you've been chasing a higher chance of success at the expense of the retirement you actually want, it may be time to rethink what success really looks like for you. The goal isn't to maximize your chance of success in life, it's to maximize your retirement. So I'm curious, which chance of success are you targeting and why? Or have you stopped thinking about it as the one single success metric? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're approaching it. If you enjoy digging into retirement planning as much as we do, be sure to subscribe. Every week, we break down topics like Social Security, taxes, investing, and retirement planning to help you make more informed financial decisions. Thanks for watching. Happy planning, and I'll see you in the next one.